Hello and welcome to the SurveYOUR podcast with James Baker and Jon Lever. Two chartered surveyors embarking upon a social media journey, locked in a virtual room with nothing better to do than to discuss everything surveying. And some things not.
Hi everyone, welcome to season 2 of the SurveYOUR
Season
podcast.
2, unbelievable! Couldn't believe we'd even outlast season 1.
Well, 20 episodes. I mean, it's amazing that we got that far. But
Yeah. Actually, have you looked at? I haven't looked at how many downloads we are today. You crack on with the intro. I'll have a quick look.
no, I haven't had a look. Anyway, hi everyone. So this is the start of our season 2, and we thought we'd start maybe in a similar fashion to how we started previously. We did those long-term listeners will probably remember the SurveYOUR crystal ball that we did. So we're going to have a quick look through those, review what we said, what our predictions were, and see how accurate we were.
Did we predict that both of us would have beards?
Well,
you see, this is such a distraction for me. This really
it was a given that I'd have one, you know. But, yeah. But I don't think I saw you coming along and having a beard. But
maybe
still,
we can put that on the next one when I have it shaved it off.
Will you have shaved it off? Yeah, and
it's getting close.
Okay.
I've just looked up the stats, by the way. 2,783 downloads, and on that note, I'm very proud of what we've achieved.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
very good. I don't think we predicted that we'd be doing that well.
No, that could be a prediction going forward, couldn't it? How many downloads do we think? Oh, I'm going to write that down. How many downloads do we think we'll have by Christmas? That would be quite fun.
By Christmas, I'll have to do a quick bit of maths on that to try. Right, okay. So just to refresh people's memories, those who listened to the podcast a while ago, episode whatever it was, 2, I think. So we made 5 predictions between us of what we thought was going to happen over the next year, over 2021. And so the first one was all about COVID. The second was to do with industry change. Third, was world changes to travel. And we then also had our fourth prediction was around furlough and redundancies and technology change. And we also then went on, which is kind of 6 really, if you want, but summer holidays.
Well, I think the technology change we decided had happened already, which was everyone being online using Zoom or Teams. I think the holiday one was what we and that was you and me going on holiday, wasn't it? Would we manage to get on holiday by August?
We managed to get on holiday, and so we'll come on to that in a little bit.
Yeah, cool. So do you want to quickly whistle through each of those predictions and what we'd actually said?
Yeah, let's go through them. Yeah, let's go through a few things that we said, a few statements that were made.
Okay. So the first one we said was COVID, wasn't it?
Yes. So the first one was all about COVID. So my prediction was around, I mean, I seem to remember as well that I said that I thought the vaccination program was going to go horribly wrong.
Yes, you did. You did doom and gloom that one, and also I
did
remember you being very vague, and then I pinned you down, and then I think you panicked and said it would all.
That's true, and I panicked and I just went, what? just dived into it. Yeah, it just was like, well, I've got. I don't know. I was being I was far too vague, and you were quite specific, which I didn't expect.
So we'd actually said that we reckoned by Christmas, because we said, how do we think at the end of our first sort of 12 months of predictions? And I think that's probably worth us saying that we don't actually think predictions over 12 months are worth it anymore. You've got to do this every 6 months.
Yeah, things change too quickly, don't they?
But we had said that we reckoned it would be limited distancing by Christmas.
Yeah, you said limited distancing by Christmas, didn't you? And you were saying that by the middle of 2022 we'd be back to normal.
Whatever, so then whatever normal looks.
Whatever normal will be, but so you said it's kind of a year away from your predictions.
Still, I have to say I'm not wavering much on that. And the thing actually, I think what it will come down to is like the flu, everyone's happy for X thousands of people to die every year and no one bats an eyelid. And I think this will fit into, that's where I think it's going.
Yeah, I think that's what has to happen, to be honest.
So that was, what did you say for that one?
I said Christmas. By Christmas.
Did it all be sorted by Christmas? Or not sorted, but back to
but we would be in a better place.
But you also doom and gloom the vaccine.
But I did doom and gloom because I said maybe the vaccine will go wrong, and then maybe I might agree with you on the middle of 2022,
Yeah.
but actually, I don't know whether I've changed my mind or not. But
Should
we do our new predictions after we've gone through all of
I agree, yeah. Otherwise, I think I'm jumping the gun. Now, just going back to the vaccine, the COVID one, I also said, remember we were doing the calculator. I said I was 26 million people ahead of me before I got my vaccine. I was double vaccinated by 3 weeks ago. And what's that? That was middle of May.
Well, I wasn't due to have mine until, when was mine? I can't remember. Let's have a look.
July, September.
I think I was expected to be fully vaccinated by September. Yeah, July would be my first. Whereas I've already had one, and next weekend I've got my second.
Yeah. So in effect, that dooming and glooming and dissing the vaccine, I think you just need to kind of eat your hat on that one.
Well, I will eat my hat because I was wrong.
I think they've done well, haven't they, on that front? As long as, of course, the vaccine works.
Yeah, you credit where it's due. They've done pretty well on that, haven't they? And my experience was that it was incredibly efficient. So surprisingly, that has gone well with one or two blips, issues, minor issues, and things.
But nothing that's majorly
but nothing that's derailed the program. So
yeah. So COVID. All right, we'll come back to that one then. What was the other one we then talked about? Was it industry?
So industry.
That was to do with working practice, wasn't it?
Yeah, working practices, I guess, changes to the industry. So there was a few things. So what did you say? So you got. I mean, you obviously talked about the fact that everything had moved online for you, and I think that you probably feel that was how things were going to go.
I think so. Yeah.
And then your comments around COVID and travel and actual face-to-face meetings.
Oh yeah, we talked about having a was it a reference number for vaccines? Was it you had to show your vaccine reference number before you could go into meetings? And interestingly, about 3 or 4 episodes ago, we talked about the COVID passport.
We did. Yeah, we did.
I mean, geez, that's an interesting one. We'll come back to that as well. I think that'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, and I was talking about I was saying, why would you travel 2 hours for a half-hour meeting, which I still stand by, really.
I do.
And the fact that I thought that there may be some changes around the flexibility around working practices, home office, etc. I think there was a statement around actual how many staff we thought might or might not want to go back into offices and things. So we'll come on to that again later, because that'd be an interesting one to have a bit of a chat
and when
around.
we did this, I didn't have my log cabin hadn't been delivered, had it?
No.
And which I'm still not in, unfortunately, just purely because I'm so busy. I only get 2 or 3 hours a weekend to actually work on it. But we're at second fix wiring at the moment, second fix electrical, so nearly in. But yeah, the fact of changing sort of viewpoints there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then the next one was world travel, wasn't it? Would we get back on an aeroplane? Would travel be back to normal? Oh, we also talked about public transport and the idea of electric cars and actually going back to your own car because that's a safe environment, sort of thing.
I still no intention of getting on a plane, but
interesting. Then we had furlough and redundancy, and we predicted that would. Oh, you're right there, mate.
Yeah.
You should...
I don't know where that came from.
Just for anyone listening, not watching it on YouTube, go watch that on YouTube. I think James just died and just choked himself.
I don't know what happened there. Just about have a quick drink.
Yeah, you have a quick drink. I was going to say. God, dear, if that ever happened to me, I think I'd have a heart attack. Right, okay. Furlough and redundancy. We reckoned by the end of June, furlough would be finished.
Yes.
So I think we'll pick up on that one.
We will pick up on that one.
And then the last one was going on holiday. We both reckoned yes, which I think we're probably still in the same place. But
holidays, we'll come on to that at the end. But yes, holidays.
Cool. All right. So
just before we go, obviously we're going to come on, but let's have a look at some of the statements that we made.
Okay.
There was a few things that we talked about which I thought were interesting to go back onto. There was comments I made around the redesign of homes, didn't I? If you remember.
Yeah. You see, I'm still not away from that. I still think that's.
I still think that will be something that will happen. I think people will want office space. It's just the old study, isn't it, coming back again?
Yeah, but bigger.
Yeah. Yeah,
it won't be a broom cupboard study, will it? It'll be equivalent to the size of, mind you, the studies were equivalent to the size of a small.
I think housing design they will look to have an office space in.
Do you think it will be in the house, or do you think it will be and we've also got an offer going on. When you buy this house, you could buy this 10-foot by 14-foot cabin in your garden as well.
Well, I think that might be more of a luxury property type thing rather than just your standard.
I agree. You would have to.
But I certainly don't see why that won't be an option, that you can have a cabin in the garden.
Yeah, because when they delivered my log cabin, it was on a 5-month lead-in when I ordered it. It was then on a 12-month lead-in when they delivered it. Because the delivery guy said to me, yeah, these are now on 12 months.
Wow, so lots of people wanting them.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of people I've spoken to that I've seen them do it as well. Funnily enough, one of my neighbours thought I was erecting a sauna.
A sauna?
Which I thought, repurpose it later on when I've retired. Hot tub next to it and a sauna inside.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Can't see it happening, but there we are.
No, very nice. But
that was interesting, wasn't it? Yeah. And Nostradamus hasn't come up with anything new.
No, Nostradamus, no, not that I've seen. Scientists, virus, zombies. Nothing new on that.
Yeah.
No zombies yet.
Yeah. And you being 6 months in now to new business?
More than 6.
Is it? When did you? Oh yeah, is it?
October. I started. I started trading. So
yeah.
What's that? Quick maths.
Quick maths. That's 7 months.
Mate. 7 months. I had a few beers last night, John. I'm not thinking quite.
You just choked yourself to death, and your
that's it. I'm not
cognitive ability's gone down.
This is it. You see, I'm not used to socialising with people and having a beer anymore. Because I'm so out of practice of doing it.
Sudden, all you need is half a beer, and you're anybody's.
That's it.
Thank goodness I'm teetotal. Right. And we also talked about hot desking as well, didn't we? And we just wouldn't like it using someone else's desk. And the fact that you didn't like people and I didn't like people either.
I've never been a fan of hot desking anyway.
Yeah. I think, is there anything else on there? Oh, closing schools. Now that's an interesting one. Obviously, they did shut down the schools and bits for a bit. Yeah. My daughter, who amazingly is 16 years old now and has just finished school, sadly, bless her, hopefully they'll reorganize it, but she didn't get her last day at school because they had to shut down the whole year because they had too many outbreaks of this Indian variant hit the school. There's a bit of a controversy behind it about some children not social distancing, spreading it amongst themselves, and then spread it throughout the whole year or something. So they ended up shutting down the whole year group on Monday last week, and Friday was her last day. So she was gutted because she didn't get her last day with all her friends. So I think what they're going to do is probably get them all back in again when it's being lifted. They shut down because we're actually seen as a high risk area at the moment, so in Bedford. So so that was sad, but bless her, because I remember the last day of school was always a crack, isn't it?
I remember it still.
So okay, so is there any other bits you want to pick up on there, or should we?
No, I don't think so. Some stuff will no doubt come up anyway.
And I also think, I think going forward, I think it'd be quite nice to do these predictions, not annually, but do them at the beginning of each of our seasons, because it looks like a season for us is lasting about 6 months, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that'd be quite cool. And
so that would work.
Yeah. And I don't think many of what we've had are going to be much different, but I think we'll see how we go. So do you want to kick off with COVID to start with?
Okay. So
number one that we think for the next 6 months, how do we think COVID's going to go?
So let's look at our COVID predictions for the next 6 months then. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Are we going to talk around it, or are we going to
let's chat around it as well, because I think there's lots more has happened since January time when we did this, isn't there?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we've got Indian variant now, which I tear my hair out at. I think it's ridiculous. It's the same as every other variant of the disease, and so the vaccine covers it. So why we're making such a fuss about it is anybody's.
Well, it's good. It sells newspapers, doesn't it? It's good press coverage.
Well, it does frustrate me because, to be quite honest, I am ready to open up again.
Yeah.
Just crack on with life, because I'm a bit fed up of the old.
Do you think the vaccine has helped you in that thought process, or do you feel that you're actually a bit more dangerous to others who haven't had the vaccine? Because are we now asymptomatic? Don't know.
No, I don't think so. And I've probably said this in another podcast, but I'm doing lateral flow tests regularly because of,
me too.
because I am interacting with other people through work. And I think as long as you are monitoring your own health and things, then what's the problem, really? As long as you do what you're supposed to do, should you, if I was to suddenly get a positive test from nowhere, which hopefully I won't do because I've had one vaccination and the second one's very soon. So I just think if I was to, and hopefully I probably wouldn't have any symptoms because I've had the vaccines, then I would do what I should do and self-isolate so I don't spread it.
Yeah, no, that's very true. But the vaccine don't guarantee that you'll not catch it, do
No,
they?
it doesn't
Guarantee that you won't keel over.
Like the flu jab, yeah. So you'll just get a more milder version of it.
Yeah, it's like wearing a seatbelt in the car. It doesn't mean you're not going to die.
No,
it just means you have much less chance to die if you're in an accident, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
that's
yeah. No, I'm with you on that, absolutely. And I think there's an element of social responsibility to do the lateral flow tests. I really do. Because then you can turn around and go, well, I know, as well as I can know with the information we have, I know that I'm doing the best I can for everyone else around there. I think that's one of the things that bugs me a little bit. And again, sorry to rant and rave about this, but one of the things that bugs me is we're not doing this really for ourselves. We're doing it for other people to make sure that we're not spreading it. And I just wish that as human beings, and this is back to my utopia of, I wish everyone was lovely to each other. I just wish as human beings we would focus on that, and that it's for the greater good for everybody, not just how I feel about.
Can they, as a nation, I think
it's a shame.
Sometimes we can be quite selfish as individuals.
Yeah, and I'm probably not any different to anyone else. I
think we're all like that at times, aren't we? And we can be, and sometimes you have to be, but. When it comes to this,
just be nice to everyone, please.
Just be nice, folks.
Just be nice.
But I do the testing purely because I don't want to go around. At the time when I started doing it was because I was doing a lot of residential surveying and I was going into people's houses and I didn't want to be taking COVID into people's houses.
Yeah,
and so I started doing it on that basis. My wife's a teacher, so she has to do it.
Yeah.
It's part of their thing, the program at school, and so I've just carried on doing it. I'm not really doing the resi surveys anymore, but I am I'm still doing it because I'm working with clients and meeting people. I'm going into schools, and so it's just I think I don't want to be going in unknowingly spreading a virus that I might have when I could be.
It's a bit of social responsibility, isn't it?
Just a bit of social responsibility.
Social responsibility. We like social responsibility.
Yeah. Each to their own. Everybody. I've made a point when we did the COVID passport about choices and stuff. And I think people have a choice.
Yeah.
That's why I do it.
So prediction-wise, are we predicting what we think by Christmas? Where do we think it's going to be?
It's so difficult because it changes so quickly, isn't it?
That's why it's a prediction.
I know, but you see, I think I have a hope and I have a prediction. So my hope is that we will still continue as we are. I suspect that come the 21st of June, the government are going to say, oh no, there's too much of this Indian variant around, and the media are all over it like a rash. And so they're going to say, right, we're not opening everything back up in normal fashion. You've still got to wear masks. You can't hug each other in the way, or, you still got to keep social distance when you're out, should I say. And I think that will stay. But I'm hopeful that we won't have another lockdown. I'm suspicious that we might well end up with another lockdown, and I will be angry if we do when I've had 2 vaccinations and so many people in the population have had the vaccines. It makes me question what's the point of a vaccine if we're going to have another lockdown. So I think my prediction will be that I think that there'll probably be another lockdown at some point because that's just the way it seems to go. I don't know. I think by the year end we'll know exactly where we sit, and I think we could, in theory, we'll never be COVID free, but I think we will have learnt to live with it as a nation, and I think people are getting a bit fed up with it now anyway. I think
it'll become part of like
I think the government will make the choice. The boosters in autumn potentially. for people. I think we will be, by the end of the year, moving into 2022, looking at going back to whatever life will be like post-COVID.
Yeah. I mean, a mate of mine, his brother lives over in one of the offshore islands, Guernsey or something like that, where they're back to normal because there isn't any cases on the island, and they're pretty much restrictive when people do come to the island. But he was saying that they're all back to normal because there's no COVID, but when there is COVID, the whole island shut down for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And that's what they do. And then after 2 weeks, they all go back to normal again. So I'm not suggesting we can shut down the whole country, but when it's an island, I mean, I don't know how big Guernsey is, probably 6 miles long by about 2 miles wide or something. But the thing is, it's an interesting one, isn't it? And obviously, well, to add into what you're saying, we're feeling the pinch here in Bedford at the moment because that's what hit the government website last week. Bedford, Blackburn, Bolton, Burnley. It seems like they couldn't get past the bees. let's just pick some. Excuse me.
It's funny. Leicester was in there because I saw on the local news here that Leicester had been.
Leicester and
the same
Hounslow weren't there, as well. So but I think I'm in two minds. You see, I might be. I don't know if I'm being more positive than you. I think come the June announcement, I think we're not going to see as big a lift of the restrictions as one would hopefully have hoped for. I'm in two minds whether I think we're going to do another lockdown or not.
I'll be honest, I struggle to keep up with what the changes are anyway.
Well, absolutely.
But my view of what was supposed to be happening on the 21st was we were binning everything off. No masks.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You see, I don't think the no mask thing is ever going to change.
Oh, I can't wait to not wear a mask anymore, John.
Do you think? I'm still.
So I watched
out and about, yes, but if I haven't been to Sainsbury's for probably about 8-9 months.
Wow.
Because we do the whole pay for it and they deliver it sort of malarkey. So I haven't actually gone in a supermarket shop like that for about 8 months, which is a bit weird. But I think I'm a bit weird anyway.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I think I am. But I'm still not sure I wouldn't not wear a mask when I'm going into a shop for a good while yet.
I'll tell you what, the day we don't have to wear masks anymore, I won't be wearing a mask.
Yeah. Well, mind you, your big beard will probably filter a lot of that out.
Yeah. I'll just make sure I wash it when I get home.
Yeah, no, it's a
bit of anti-bac on it.
Yeah, that's right. But yes, it's an interesting one, isn't it? So so you're saying so by Christmas, what did you say you reckoned?
So I think that I don't think restrictions will be entirely lifted in June. I think we will go on for a few more months, and I think it will be more like the end of the year when they're looking at taking masks away and opening up fully again. Because I think at that point there will have been discussions. I think there will be an acceptance of the fact that people are vaccinated.
Yeah,
we're just going to have to put up with this now.
Yeah.
But I think that's the next stage for people to accept, and I think that will take another 6 months. So end of the year.
Not that I'd want to sort of balance this in the same way as I look as new Apple products, but I always like to let other people have a little go with them first before I decide to buy one. Let all the glitches get ironed out, and the updates happen. And I just think there is, or is it? It might just be me. There's just a chance that I think some of this happens a bit too quick, too soon. Let's just give it a moment. Let's give it another. It's a bit like it's my philosophy on being ill. When you feel better, take an extra day just to make sure you are.
But that is very true. That is very, very true.
And part of me thinks if June doesn't happen, but it happens by Christmas, I'm cool with that because that means we've given it that extra little bit of a chance.
I'm impatient now. But I know what you're saying, but I'm impatient.
You're too young.
We've given it a chance.
Yeah.
Giving it a chance.
Did I tell you about the I can't remember if I mentioned it on another podcast, but the candidate he was our candidate, wasn't
yes,
it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, we did a mock. Now we're coming to the end of COVID.
Coming to the end of COVID in July. It's like, oh right, okay. Bless you, you little you bless.
Yeah, maybe not.
There we are. But it's good to have that viewpoint, isn't it? It's good to have.
It's good to be positive.
So do you think? So we're saying I'm cool with you on the Christmas one. I think
I'm going to say end of the year,
quite relaxed. But
I think 2022 we will launch into 2022 as if COVID doesn't exist anymore. Well, not as if it doesn't exist anymore, but as in we won't worry about it anymore.
Yes, I could see that, and I think
except for if there's some new Thai variant or some new variant that they decide to make up that doesn't get covered by the vaccines,
or Marks and Spencer's food hall variant or whatever.
Yeah.
Now the other thing I think is as well, I think this will all link into sort of your flu vaccination.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
I think it will be an annual vaccine.
But do you think that what's your mindset on that? Because my mindset, and probably this is a bit of a bloke mindset as well. Oh, everything's fine. I don't want a vaccine, as in a flu jab. And a lot of people around me have gone had their flu jabs each year, and each year I've gone, can't be bothered. But now, I think I will every year.
Well, you're not getting any younger, John.
No. I mean, that might not be the only incentive, but I just think, I mean, as blokes, we're really rubbish, aren't we, about looking after ourselves?
About medicine and stuff, yeah.
About medical
about
things.
our own health and stuff, yeah, we are.
As you can tell, me being so stupid.
Yeah, and I had quite a lot there last night, so yeah, never worry about my health.
Yeah,
so I still think I'm 25, John.
So let's just for clarity, we reckon they'll be calming down by Christmas, and we reckon into some level of normality that we're happy with and not worried about it, launching into the new year.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so when we do the beginning of season 3, which will probably be
end of the year,
beginning of the year we'll have a feel how we feel about it.
Yeah, see how we feel.
Okay, that's cool. No, that's cool. I like that one. Good. All right. What's our next one?
So working practices, we're going to call this one.
So this was, would we all be back at home still, or would we be back in the office?
Would be back in offices and things. So I got a few things to talk about here because what I find interesting. So I had my first face-to-face meeting with somebody last Thursday. And
embellish that.
In a coffee shop, business
indoors.
meeting, indoors.
I'm going to go at that.
And mask wearing until you get to the table, take your mask off, and then we had a chat. And so, and that was great. It was brilliant to actually go out and meet somebody rather than having a Zoom call, which I've got a bit bored of doing all of the time. It was quite nice to do that. And I've been talking to industry colleagues and all sorts of different people about, are you back in offices? A lot are not back in offices yet. There's huge amounts that haven't gone back in. I think they're starting to. And then interestingly, obviously I started my business, as we mentioned, and I take the keys to my first office on Tuesday after the bank holiday. So, and I'm going to go and work in there. Yeah. Now, I'm going to work flexibly. I won't be in there every day. I will possibly still work at home sometimes, depending on what family duties and things that are needed and the like. But it's an office, and so
that's really interesting as well. Though that family duties and the like has in the past been a benefit only to those of us who own our businesses, because we have a choice. I think that's coming through. That's going to become a norm,
and absolutely, it needs to be.
Yeah,
to everybody in the workplace, absolutely needs to be. It shouldn't just be those that are bosses. It should be those that are at work and you've got an issue or a problem and you need somebody working flexibly. Go and work from home. If I get to the point where I'm recruiting people for my business, then I will absolutely allow them to work flexibly, and they won't be expected to be in the office every day. There'll be days that I need them in the office for communication and discussions, collaboration, whatever it might be. But there'll be no pressure on them to work Monday to Friday in the office if they don't want to.
Yeah,
that's the way I see the modern working practice. Well, that's how I see the modern workplace.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I mean, we as a business, we're 20 years old this year, and we have always maintained that family comes first with all of our employees, and that's always been our ethos. And people, I mean, all of my workforce, I mean, not that I have many of them, but all of them are so conscientious. Oh, I'm going to be half hour late because I've got to take so and so to school, or they're not well today. Can I make up my? And he said, can I make up my hours? Now, as far as I'm concerned, I couldn't really care less. Tell the truth, they all do such a.
I've always had that same view on it as well. As long as you get the work done and you earn.
Absolutely, they've always done.
As long as you do what you need to do, I don't care about how many hours you work. It's about doing the job and doing it well.
Exactly.
It's not about how many hours you work. If I could employ somebody and they could do. Earn loads of money for my business by working 2 days a week and having the rest of the week off, I would be happy as anything.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And dare I say, this is an APC ethos that we try and instill in people. It's not about time served; it's about competence.
Exactly.
And that comes through business and everything.
It's quite an old-fashioned thing, though, isn't it? And I had a bit of a rant last time, didn't I, about the 9 to 5 working practices?
Yeah, but I think you're right. But interestingly, we were talking last time that we reckoned about 30% of the kind of companies would expect people back in, so they could see bums on seats because they wouldn't trust them. And then about 70%, the other 70 would be a mix of flexibility or, a bit laissez-faire, as it were. But I think that's from the conversations I've had subsequently with some business owners going, it's a real nightmare trying to talk to people and talk them through designs and all these sort of things. And I really want them back in the workplace so we can have these meetings and conversations. You can do a certain amount over Zoom, but I'm just wondering whether I'm erring towards a larger percentage of actually companies stipulating majority of the time is in the office, not as flexible as we might have thought or hoped.
I think, I think we were probably a bit low on that 30%. I think you're right, but I still hope, because I think as a nation, let alone as we have quite a strong work ethic, I think, in this country, and I think we need to maybe take a leaf out of the book of some of the Europeans and realize that there's a lot more to life than just working.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've got friends who work for many different types of national companies, etc. And one of my mates works for an American company, and the American work ethic is worse than ours, I think, because they're not really much for holiday taking, are they? And all these sort of things. I could be speaking out of turn here, but from my experience of that, it's very much always at work, grafting sort of thing. I wonder if other countries are feeling or thinking the same thing. Whereas, I think some of our European counterparts are a little bit more relaxed than we are. One of the things I would like to say, though, is I'd actually like to have the opportunity to take some time off.
Yeah, likewise.
Because that's one of the other challenges. I'm working practice at the moment. It's just, we'll probably pick this up with another thought process, but since January, furloughing all my staff meant I was working 12, 15-hour days, 7 days a week. And then that kind of relaxed a little bit as they came back in slowly. But then come January, and I think you've been the same, come January, it's just mad.
I've not had a day off in the last 4 months or something.
I've determined to take tomorrow off because it is a bank holiday.
I am going to take the bank holiday off as well. And to be honest, I was looking at my workload, and I'm getting into a nice place actually with it. I feel like I'm starting to get on top of things. And my wife's off with it being half term, teaching. Half term. So I'm contemplating that I might try and get work done this week and maybe take Friday off.
Oh, well, I've got Friday off. Very exciting day Friday for me.
And is this airsoft day?
It's an airsoft. It's the first airsoft meet we've had in 6 months.
Amazing.
And I'll be trialing my new, for anyone out there who plays airsoft, my new AAP01 carbine kit. There you go. I'm going to leave it there. Basically, it's a small machine gun. It's very great.
Amazing. Sounds good. Sounds great.
Yeah, absolutely. And also we've got, we're digressing slightly here, but it's too exciting. We also have new room emptying flash stun grenades as well. So we'll be trialing those out on Friday, because it's a mixed site. There's some enclosed spaces, quite big.
For those people who are interested and haven't fallen asleep, John will be doing a side show of all about airsoft. All about airsoft,
yeah. I could talk to you a little bit about it. I'm not very good at remembering all the names of things, but I thoroughly enjoy playing it. So and for anyone else as well who might be salivating slightly over airsoft, is I have a tracer unit on the front of my pistol as well. So in the dark, all the pellets light up. It's absolutely fantastic. That's what I'm doing Friday. So I've got Friday off as well.
Yeah, great. So yeah,
that's not the norm at all, is it? But
we digress slightly, but yes, I think having a bit of time off and stuff. I think most people that have been working through will probably be in the same position, to be honest.
Yeah, I think also just
a lot of hours.
Yeah, and from a working practice side of things, what do you think corporates are thinking about? Absolutely, just the fatigue of their workforce. Because if we're feeling tired, then other people have got to be feeling tired, surely.
Call me a cynic, but if my experience of corporates is anything to go by, they won't be even thinking about it.
No, I mean, I spoke with Yeah, a friend of mine, we were sat around a fire last night out in the garden, and we were chatting over this because he runs well, quite a few of my mates run quite large companies, and they were talking about, I keep having these meetings with everyone who's just knackered. So, like, yeah, every time I meet people or people come
just
round,
as I yawn at that point.
yeah, absolutely. People come round to the house or whatever it is, and sit out in the garden. We'll all just sit there completely drained, watching the flames flicker, sort of thing. It's been great.
It's funny.
I've had some nice bonfires with him, so yeah, I wonder if that's going to impact on where sort of the working practice and everything going forward. I mean, if you haven't got to travel for 2 hours at the beginning or the end of the day, and remember we talked about that before about getting up from here in Bedford to get into London. I see people getting up at 6 or getting to the station for 6 in the morning. I mean, that's just ludicrous. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have been. I'm not even awake at 6 in the morning. The earliest my alarm ever gets set is 7:30.
Yeah, I mean,
you might be with your nipper, but
yeah, my wife gets up quite early, but out of choice, I wouldn't be awake at 6, and I certainly wouldn't be getting to a train station for 6.
No, so maybe lack of or reduction in travel will give people more time to recuperate, but I'm not seeing it myself.
No, I think people have been generally working more, and that will be the most interesting thing, I think, to see where people go from after this and how people will people settle back in. I think it's a mixed bag, though. I think you'll probably find people who have had extended times on furlough, and others who've maybe been made redundant and things, and different stresses and different strains, and some people will have probably had more time than they wanted, and then others have just been working far more. And I think to be honest, that's probably one of the things that mine won't change in a small business, but getting back into that kind of more normal working practices, as in not working weekends.
Yeah.
Although is
that a small business thing though? Because
it is a small business
if the work's coming in, are you going to turn it away?
No. So you just do it anyway.
So I think you're just talking rubbish.
And I think, I am talking rubbish.
Because
forget I just said that. I'm talking absolutely.
Yeah, in 20 years, mate, I have never.
To be honest, that's why I will look to employ people at some point so that I can have weekends off.
Yeah, but do you know what? One of the byproducts of me employing people, for me, has been it's just another 2 people to ask you questions.
Yeah.
And that's been the challenge for me. One of the problems, I guess, that you won't have, I suppose, that I do have, is finding someone who knows what I know, who can then do what I do.
Because the only person that is sat right in front of you now, probably.
Yeah.
Who? Knows me.
Oh, sorry. I've got anyone else in the room here with me? What are you talking about? But yeah, I mean, you're not.
I ain't working for you.
Yeah, you're not far off, but you're not there. But yeah, no, I mean, whereas you can get other people who are competent surveyors. Now, again, you might still oversee what they do because it's your business, and I think that's always a business owner thing. No one works as hard as you when it's your own business.
No. But to be honest, I'm not that controlling, and I'll trust people to do.
Yeah.
And I'm quite a trusting individual, and I'm not too worried about that. I guess what we've not been picked up on is that I actually started a second business.
Oh yeah, you have, haven't you? Yeah. Look at you. One's not enough.
So one wasn't enough, so I started another business at the start of May, and that's going well.
Yeah.
And
now, that one's more resi?
That is purely resi surveying.
Okay. Do you not? Okay. All right. I'm going to hold off on that one. I'm going to ask you something about that in a minute. So, okay, cool. So working practice, what's our predictions on working practice?
Okay, so working practice, I think people will go back into offices. I think people will work more flexibly. So I think people will choose to some days 1 or maybe 2 work from home. So I think we will see a bit of a change, a bit of a shift to the majority of businesses, maybe say 65, 70%.
Yeah.
But I think there'll still be a lot who will just continue to operate how they always have done.
Yeah, and I think I don't think I would have a different prediction to that at all. So okay, so we can pick that up in and see where we get to in 6 months' time, because I think there's going to be a lot of change, which is another one that we're going to talk about in a minute on furlough, come September.
Yeah.
So
So
okay.
So prediction number 3 is all about industry stability.
Yeah, now this, you see, I think let's get rid of the one we talked about before, which was world travel, because I don't think anyone's going to do that for a bit, or you're just going to go and do it. And I think a bigger one that's appeared in my mind, and certainly in the realms of people I'm talking to, and I don't know whether it's the same for you, but I'm talking to a lot of candidates, a lot of companies, and they're all starting to kick off a little bit about, you know, lack of workforce, lack of material availability. You know, when we did a hot topic talk catch up in April, as one of the things we do at Deliver every year, twice a year, we do this, what's the latest hot topics. Interestingly, even in April, this didn't come up, but in the last 2 months it has. Well, last month, which is the shortage of materials. And that's not only from industry, but again, friends of mine who want to do a bit of DIY in the garden, and when the weather allows, of course, now can't get hold of cement, can't get hold of, you know, sand, can't get hold of timber. Timber was another one that came up the other day. Oh yeah, shortages of timber. Seriously? You know, and that's what is coming through. So from an industry perspective, you know,
well, this all obviously comes back from the fact that you will have had factories and places manufacturing will have closed down for periods, and then there's a backlog, and as things gather a pace, and you know, more and more projects are starting things. It's something I've seen. I'm hopeful. I've got a number of projects coming on site in the next sort of 2 or 3 months. I'm hopeful that they won't have issues with, but it's something that I'm braced for, and allowing time in programming and things like that to get over difficulties of material supplies and things.
Because it depends what capacity these factories are at. If they're only running at 60-70% capacity,
exactly, and I think that's the problem.
Then they can rack up, couldn't they? Maybe. But then what about the social distancing side of things, which is causing it to take longer? Which you said, you know, program issues. There could be elements of that. So that's from an industry, from our industry. I guess we ought to caveat that from a sort of a building, construction, land, property industry. Do we think that's going to recover, or do you think it's going to be worse by Christmas?
No, I don't think it will be any worse. I don't think it will be any worse. I think things will continue. It's an interesting one, because so the resi side of things, the resi surveying side of things, and obviously that's been, I think I was speaking to an estate agent the other day, and he said that they've probably never been busier.
Well, one of my friends is a resi surveyor. He's got his own resi company up in Harrogate. He's exactly the same. He's never been busier, but he is acutely aware that he thinks he's in a bubble.
Yes.
And when does the stamp duty change?
Well, there's 2 changes, so it's 2 different values. There's a change at, what is it? I think there's a 250 mark and a 500,000 mark or something. Right. So there's 2 changes, and it's staged in 2. One is coming to a close very soon, I think, and the other one is later in the year. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
But I would say things have slowed, but there's still plenty going on. It's just that it's probably got to a more comfortable pace than it was at previously.
Because he said to me, you know, exactly what we've just talked about, working time. He said, I'm now working all day Saturdays every week. It's that busy. And I think, you know, I do think it's in a bubble. There's another guy who's one of our consultants who's got a firm Chester way, and he was saying, you know, I think when at the beginning of kind of when he came, because he basically shut the company for 2 or 3 months, so he put the whole company on for, they're not very big, but put the whole company on and shut the doors for 2 or 3 months. He came back after that, and he was saying, you know, I've done 6 months worth of work in a month. You know, that's on turnover and what normally comes through the door. And I think that's, you know, it's kind of make hay while the sun shines, because I think there's going to be a blip. I hope it's not too much of a blip, because there has been a lot of injection into our industry, hasn't there? And like we've said before, we've been very fortunate not to.
We've been very fortunate through this. I think there will be a blip on the horizon. I think things will slow a little. But only in certain sectors and you know, certain client bases and things. You know, different sectors I think will be impacted differently. I think there's still going to be plenty of stuff going on, and it's where you position yourself and as a business and how you'll be impacted. I don't think there'll be recessionary type issues, but there'll be one or two probably downturns. But then that said, if as a business you've managed to get through it and you've done that, as you were just saying, you've earned all of that money or that turnover in that short space of time, then you can probably carry it, and I think certainly my business will have, the turnover will be hugely over what I was working towards or what I thought it would be. And that's a bonus. That can only be a bonus for me, because actually my workload at the moment is I don't need to take any more work on until next year. But that said, I will have some capacity sort of September, October time to take, more work on, although I've already got some other stuff lined up for that. So I think it's a case of, I'll have earned the money and therefore it's in the business. So I could probably afford a couple of quiet months.
Yeah, I think also there's a lot of businesses, I'm not sure you did this, but I did, that took out these bounce back loans.
Yeah.
I mean, I took out, quite a sizable loan, have managed not to have to use it, and have now had to start paying it back, which I don't have a problem with, but you're paying it back over 6 years and it's only going to cost, a few £1,000s over the volume of what you took. Quite frankly, make hay while the sun shines now, put money in reserve, but I'm not giving that money back, because I'm quite happy to fund the difference of it over the next 6 years for the security that you've got that buffer sitting there to protect your business. Now, in all my years of having a business, I've never had business loans, never needed to, always funded it, and I feel very fortunate that, the bank, maybe that's just part of me being I don't want anyone else having a controlling view on my business, but maybe I should have, maybe I shouldn't have, who knows? But I think there's a lot of funding still out there that people have got to weather this.
Yeah, and I think there'll be more comes in as well, more funding for different things. And I think the thing that we have to remember is that the government are going to be trying to make sure that the economy doesn't crash, because
absolutely,
it's been so difficult. They to get through the whole pandemic. I think the government are going to do whatever they can to encourage a strong economic return, and I think that's so. For me, in terms of industry stability, I don't think, my prediction would be that I can't see any major problems. I think things might slow down. I think we might not be as busy. That's probably not a bad thing. Being a small business, do I want to be as busy as I have been? Not all of the time, but I quite enjoy it at the same time, because I know I've got lots of work coming in. It gives me that confidence.
Well, it's just confidence and security, isn't it?
That's security. Security is the word I was looking for.
Yeah, for those out there who are employed, where you're
being in my first year of trading, it's given me so much security, because I've been busier than I could have ever imagined or hoped for, and so I wouldn't complain about it, because actually it does give me that security. I will have surpassed my year one. I've already surpassed my year one target turnover.
Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting, is it? Because some of you out there who might be listening to this, who have always worked for a company, so your salary always hits your bank account on that date every month. When you start moving to running your own business, that's no longer the case. And it's interesting, actually. I digress again for a moment, but the mindset I've had from some candidates, why can't you do it for free? And it's like, well, don't take your salary home this month then. Oh no, I couldn't do that. I said, well, that's what you just asked me to do. So it's an interesting mindset, isn't it, of how the industry will impact on different people depending on your working and financial.
It's interesting security. Though, because I would have been, as a full-time employee for my entire career up until I started my own business. I never had the concern. I always got paid. And then to suddenly find yourself where you know that you can't pay yourself if you don't earn the money, you don't get the work done. It's a very different mindset, and it is a very different way of seeing the fees and looking at the fees that you earn. It's quite fascinating, because I always thought that I fully understood that, and I always worked to make sure that I earned the fees and hit the targets that I was set when I worked for the people. But actually, now sitting this side as a business owner and really realizing the impact of not earning the money that you think you're going to earn, it changes your view.
Yeah, I'd agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it can be a challenge from time to time. I mean, I did find it interesting. I mean, when the recession hit back in 2008, I had 4 staff at the time, and I turned around to them saying, "Hey guys, I'm going to have to dock your salaries 10%." And everyone started getting really quite ratty about it. It's like, but you still got a job, sort of thing. And I think that was the same with furlough. I mean, that's been a saving grace. I mean, furlough, no one ever knew what that was, did they?
No.
That has been a saving grace.
Before you start talking about furlough, what's your predictions for the industry?
Yes, and now I was going to also throw another little spanner in the works and go, our industry as land property construction, but then the greater industry out there, as in the social, the entertainment industry and all that. What's that called again? Entertainment and is that what it is?
Leisure.
What would you call pubs and
hospitality?
And hospitality. That's it. I hadn't got the right terminology. Yeah. So I think for our industry, I think we're still going to see fluctuations, but I don't think we're going to launch into a recession. But I do see the elements of surveying, which we've always seen. Recessionary times, building surveyors make money. In non-recessionary times, everyone makes money, sort of thing, and that's because how people will spend their money. I do think the resi side of our industry is going to take a kicking, but I think the industry as a whole, I think, is going to make it through quite happily.
Yeah, but I think it will only take a kicking because it's been so buoyant and so.
I agree, and I think it will calm down.
It's
like a 6 to 12 months, I think, and then it will calm down.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I started a resi business, and I've done that on with knowledge of things will change, but I knew that, and I've not started that business on my own. I've got 2 equal partners in that business.
Yeah. But also you've got another skill set as well, and you've got other things you can bring to that business and use the staff for, haven't you?
We've done that. I mean, the interesting thing is there's me and another guy of the 3 of us who already have our own businesses, and then this other guy's come in to purely work within that business, the new one that we've got, 3-way partnership of. But we've set it up on having had those conversations and understanding that things may well quieten down, but then how do we get over that, and how do we look to do that? And because the 3 of us we're all surveyors, but we have slightly different skill sets. So I would say the other 2 are also building surveyors in effect, but they don't have the same. I mean, we're all about the same age actually, but I've got more industry experience than they have, so I've been doing it for longer than they have, if you like. But they both bring different skills that I don't have, so we've got a nice sort of way of looking at things. And actually, between the 3 businesses that we now sit amongst us, okay, I only have interest in mine and this other one, but there's options for working together,
cross-fertilization,
collaboration.
Absolutely.
From my point of view, it gives me 2 extra resources to bring in so I don't have to employ somebody. So from a financial point of view to my business, it would just clearly be taking a certain fee, but then handing the chunk of the fee to somebody else. So
that'll be quite interesting then to have a little bit of a reflection come Christmas of how that's gone for you.
So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But I think we've set up on the basis that it will have to adapt, and it won't just purely be the resi side of things, but we have enough work coming through that with the financial targets and things for it not to really hopefully have too much of an impact.
No, that sounds really positive. So okay, so we reckon a bit of a bubble, but not massive impact across the whole business. What about, correct terminology, the hospitality business? Do you think that's just going to bounce straight back?
I think I think people I mean, I've seen it in Derby, pubs busy, people can't wait to get back out and socialise again. So I think that whilst they've had tough times and some of them might not fully recover from it, other businesses will, I think, absolutely fly, and I think it will pick up because people want to do all of the things they've not been able to do.
I also think unless you're a big chain, there's a lot of smaller businesses in that world. I think your independent restaurants and pubs. Well, pubs tend to be in a chain, some of them, don't they? But there are independent pubs. So I think it's been, you've not got big heaving corporates that are trying to re-gear and re-engage. Have you got someone who it's dependent whether I just unlock the door or lock the door, and I can switch it on and switch it off. Obviously, given there is sort of time, expiry dates on consumables and things. But other than that, I would hope, and again, this could be me being naive and ignorant because I don't understand that industry, but I would hope, it would seem in my head, that you could, as long as you've weathered the storm financially and can keep going, you could just switch it back on again, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I think there's Joe Public. I think if anything, there's going to be a boom in that industry.
I think so.
I'll give you an example. There's a company just nearby, a friend of mine. It's his brother-in-law, sister-in-law, something like that. They've just set up this little restaurant. It's a bit of a kind of arty beer stroke. It's called Foxy Wings, and it's in Bedford. And they're just setting up at the moment, and it's like chicken wings, but lots of really round the world type flavors and stuff. It's supposed to be awesome. I've not tried any yet, but they crowdfunded because they wanted to get the whole restaurant up and running ready for September, and they crowdfunded it and raised 20 grand in a week around all of the contacts and friends. And I, as a business, we gave them 50 quid. Because I thought it's a new local business. Yeah, let's invest in that. I don't get anything for it, but throw 50 quid in the pot and help out another local business. And I think you'll see a bit of, I would hope you see a bit of that going on.
Yeah. Hopefully.
For those of us who have seen that through and have got a 50 quid that we can throw at them, and then hopefully I hope they're open during the week and during the day, because I don't want to be sat in my office all day. So I shall go and sit outside somewhere and munch my way through some chicken wings and do some emails or something. But I think that industry has every opportunity to sorry mate, am I keeping you up?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that industry has every opportunity to bounce back, as long as I'm not being naive and I don't understand it any less than I already do. Right, I think we need to move on.
Don't move on. So furlough redundancy. I think this one will be quite quick, really. I mean, this was predictions around how long we thought, and we said June.
So we said June, didn't we?
So I'll be honest, I'm not even sure how long furlough's been extended.
I believe
September.
I believe it's September. Yeah. And I also believe my worry comes back down to, again, probably more ruthless employer sort of mindset or mentality that, we keep them all on furlough because it keeps it there as a chance, as a risk management exercise. But if we don't have the work by the time furlough runs out, then we'll just make everyone redundant. And I do worry that it's more that mindset than how can we develop over these last few months while we've kept the workforce sitting in the background, and so everyone's got a job left when they come back. Now, I said in the past I had to make someone redundant last August because I had 3 admin and I could only afford 2, and that's still the case. I still have one that's still 30-40% furloughed, but the other one is back in full time. So that's been great, because since our last predictions I had them all out on 50%, I think it was, or so building back up. I just hope businesses are going to do that, because my intention was always to last August it was a nightmare.
And that's what the furlough scheme was. That's what
absolutely. And last August we couldn't see any income coming in, so it had to be. We had to make, to be fair, decisions.
Prior to March last year, nobody had ever even heard of the word furlough.
No.
And then all of a sudden it became used as frequently as unprecedented and COVID.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
The 3 buzzwords of 2020. But I mean, I'd agree with what you said. I think I don't think I can disagree with anything there. I think there will be business leaders that will see it how you described it, and there will. So I think, okay, so I'm going to make a prediction. I think furlough will be extended until the end of the year.
You see, that's really interesting. And
I'm saying that based on my predictions of what
you think it's going to carry on being restricted.
I think it will be there whilst COVID is still, and whilst it will be there as long as they need it to be there, whilst they aren't fully opening up. As soon as they make the commitment to remove masks, to do everything else, then I think furlough will stop. I think that's the point, because then they will say, okay, Britain, as as businesses, you can go out there and you can go about your normal day business now.
Yeah.
You can carry on as normal. So therefore, there's no restrictions in place. Furlough is no longer required.
Yeah.
So I think that's which is why, so off the back of what I predicted earlier, that's what I'm saying, end of the year. I think there might be some redundancies. I don't think they're going to be whole scale. I think we've probably seen the majority of them.
I still hear there's stuff going on. So there's still companies making people redundant now.
Okay.
So not necessarily in our industry, but in other industries. It's still happening where they're not securing work and for whatever reasons. Because I just wonder, actually, from a government perspective, anyone who's involved in being a subcontractor or contractor to government, because the government haven't got any money anymore, what corners or what budgets are they going to cut going forward?
The government, I think, they're the only ones that are spending money, and I think there's certain public sector practices that will continue to spend money. I don't think that's where it's going to cut. I think it's the private sector that might struggle. But it's really interesting. I mean, we've had some public sector clients where no budgets have been reduced. We've had private sector clients who've all disappeared, because everyone's holding on to their money, and so on, which is rightly so. But it's an interesting one. I think interestingly, I was wondering whether actually September would be it, but I think you're right, because we're a bit shaky on opening up and going back to some semblance of normality. I think, I'm torn, but I think you're probably right on this one. I think it'll be the end of the year.
I don't think it will go on any longer.
No, I don't. I think he'll extend it to the end of the year.
I'll be very surprised if it does go into next year.
If they do just decide to crack on from June the 21st and say, right, we're releasing everything, no masks, etc., then I think furlough won't change and it will just be September. But I don't think they're going to do that, and I think that it will be the end of the year.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they are linked, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're completely linked.
Yeah. Or furlough September through to Christmas. I mean, it's not long, is it? It was October, November, 3 months. Is going to be just trimmed even more down to specifics.
They'll probably trim some of it and specific industries or whatever. I think there'll be some.
I think as our industry, though, within again land property surveying, do you think we're going to see any more mass redundancies or anything, or do you think that's happening?
I don't think we'll see mass. I think there'll probably still be some. I think your comment about the resi side of things earlier may see that side of things, which you see, that's the thing I've been watching, because it was a world I never really got involved in until I set up my own business, and then I started getting involved in that world. And I could see and one of the reasons I got involved in that, starting my own business, was because that's where the work was, and it was why not go follow that. But the interesting thing with that is that I've seen the large surveying practices, residential surveying practices, just constantly recruiting. And that is an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, well, I know there was a
huge volume of work, that is an accident waiting to happen. That really is. Was that those birds outside?
Yeah, if you can hear the birds tweeting, just for everybody's information, we seem to, it's either swifts or house martins, it's not swallowws, have decided to start making a nest.
Yeah, I just heard them. They just joined the podcast. Slightly.
Yeah, no, I think we're on Twitter, aren't we? So we've brought it into real
tweeting, real life tweeting.
Real life tweeting. There you go. No, I don't have any budgies or a parrot, but I secretly would quite like a parrot.
There you go.
Yeah, but there we are. That's another podcast for another day. Right. Okay.
I think that's.
I think that's a good prediction. I think it's going to either June comes and it's all fine, furlough will end in September, or June won't come and it'll extend to Christmas, but we don't think it's going to go past Christmas.
Yeah,
I think that's a good one. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So on to our final
one. Well, this is really easy, isn't it? We predicted that we were going on holiday.
Will we go on holiday in August, John?
Yes.
Yes is the right answer.
Yes, unless the world disappears. We have a house that on a beach that's on its own, and there's plenty of social distancing things that we'll be doing because we'll be on the beach every day, and it's quite a secluded beach, not a very busy one. So from experience, so yes, I'm not going to flying anywhere. It's within driving distance, so that ticks my no public transport sort of requirement, and I think we'll certainly be going. So where are you off to?
I'm off to Filey, Yorkshire.
Oh well, again, somewhere you can go on your in your car, isn't it? So
yeah, it's a couple of hours for me. So we booked 2 weeks at the start of August, and we always have a week at October half term as well. And so we booked that. We're going to stay in the same place, and we've booked next year.
Oh, I'm most impressed. We've done nothing on that front.
We've booked, and purely because, and this was an interesting thing actually. So this is privately owned property on a holiday park, if you like. They're all houses, cottages, whatever you like, purpose-built holiday resort. And so this guy that owns the property was taking the management of it back to himself. Rather, he used a management company who we always dealt with. Interestingly, he started to do it his own, and he got in touch with us because he said that prices were rising, etc., etc. He could do us a decent deal for next year. So he was saying us something like, ridiculous that because people are obviously holidaying more in this country because of COVID, the prices have risen drastically for a week.
We'd seen that. We
like
have absolutely seen
£500 for a week, increase or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he said, because we've been regular customers for at least 1 week in October for a few years now, but we decided to do August this year as well, that he would do us a deal. And so he's basically giving it us for the same price next year.
Well, that's good, isn't it? Because
so
I agree.
We thought he's given us basically 2 weeks in August and a week in October for exactly the same price we paid this year. And we thought,
well, you've got to bite the hand off that one, haven't you? Yeah. As long as there's cancellation policies that are, should. So none of them can.
And it's not a massive deposit he's taken from us. So,
Yeah. No, it sounds great. I mean, my daughter, she's 13, nearly 14, has come up with some criteria, and is the fact that she wants to go to Florida for her 15th birthday, which will be in the summer holidays in 2 years' time, because she's been to Florida on every 5th birthday, if that makes sense. Okay. And she doesn't want to break the routine. Now, I can understand the logic behind that, and then she's already planned her 20th there as well. And so on. So I'd actually quite like to see if we could get out to Florida in 2023.
Well, I'd like to think, once our two are old enough, that we'll be looking to do the same.
I mean, we've been avid Euro Disney goers. We love Disney, and we've been avid Euro Disney goers for years. I think I took both of my kids. One was 2.5, and the other one she was 9 months when we first took her. And we've loved it pretty much every year since. We've been very lucky that we've been able to do it. But now, the cost of it now, and we used to get in there for it's expensive anyway, but you get in for 3 days, 4 nights, or 4 nights, something like that anyway, or 3 nights and 4 days. It would be about 500-600 quid because the kids went free. Now they're all old enough. It's nearer £2,000.
Yeah.
So, again, is Disney going to have some deals because they want to get people back?
Well, I think they might.
This is one of the things that to kind of look out for, I guess, going forward. But yeah, definitely, you're way ahead of us. So yeah, August is the only one that we've put aside at this point in time.
Yeah, we're
definitely going.
So the prediction is we will definitely go on holiday.
Yep. And when we come back and reflect on this, we'll know, because we will have either been or not been.
We will have been.
But we will have been. Yeah, no, I think you're right. No, that's good. Now, on the issue of things more expensive, holidays and everything, I've now decided a little one from me is we're getting a new puppy mid-June, and a puppy dachshund. Now, from the time we bought our first dachshund, who was Lolly, for those of you who saw or knew Lolly, sadly, he departed this mortal coil in February because he was very unwell, and he was 450 quid, and we thought he was expensive. My goodness, have you seen the price of puppies nowadays? We are moving to a new currency. Stuff Bitcoin, stuff any of this blockchain malarkey. We're now buying things in dachshunds. So you could buy a small house, you could buy half my office, in dachshunds. So 2 dachshunds. My office is currently going at a rate of 2 dachshunds to the office. So unbelievable. But yes, we're taking the plunge, seeing as, again, we've not spent it on holiday or anything, I guess. So, and it'd be family,
so 1 dachshund is a holiday.
One dachshund's about 2 holidays in this country for a long weekend.
Well, depending. In today's prices, probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Maybe 1.5 dachshunds.
Yeah, maybe 1.5.
But yeah, so in the future, I will be buying things in dachshunds.
So that is a new currency that the Surveyor podcast has created.
Indeed, yes, we are now investing in dachshunds, so it's a new commodity. But on a serious note, though, my worry is that a lot of people, obviously, the price of animals has gone up, which means a lot of people over furlough over the last year have taken on animals. Now, I've been quite active with the likes of RSPCA and like that in the past, in my past lives, etc. I'm worried that people are going to go back to work and then realise what they've taken on.
Yeah, I think.
And then we're going to. I mean, you've got a dog and a cat. We've got 3 cats and a dog already.
But we had them long before COVID, and I think there are a lot of people.
But you had the right mindset that you're taking an animal on for its life, which could be 15 years. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my dogs lived to 16. All the cats have lived over for 15. You know, so I worry that, and this is a little one out there for those of you who have taken on pets. Hopefully you've taken them on the right premise and that you're going to honour what you've done, because, you know, it's no light thing, is it? I've got all serious there for a minute, mate. I do get upset when people don't take care of their animals.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
So yeah, I'm going to back off now and stop being serious and say, yeah, but maybe we should have a sweepstake on what we're going to call the new puppy.
Oh, yeah.
That might be something, wouldn't it? I wanted to call it Lilu, but my children didn't like the name, so there we are.
So no, interesting.
No
so,
name.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah. So send us what you think about the podcast. Don't forget to SurvePod.com and give us your feedback and puppy names, please.
Puppy names. Yeah, send us a few puppy names.
Yeah. So just to recap on our things, we've got COVID, we've got industry working practice, and then industry stability. And then we've done furlough and are we going on holiday? Yes, we are. So we'll come back and reflect on those then, sort of December, January time, I guess, once we're at the end of series 2, episode 20, because this is series 2, episode 1, isn't it? So
yes.
So no, fantastic. All right, mate. I think we've done that to death.
I think we have done that to death, and hopefully there are still people listening.
Yeah, no, indeed. And I mean, our future program as well, we ought to mention, we've got our APC candidate gauntlet that we're talking about.
Yes.
Candidate leading into the autumn sitting. So that's once a month. And then I've got people on my list that I need to still ring up and confirm, but we've got some really good guests that we're lining up as well alongside.
We got some really good guests. So the program is looking very good.
Yeah. So once we've got these secured, maybe we'll
not the difficult series 2. I feel it will be very good.
Yeah, not that, to tell the truth, we couldn't sit down every week and talk about something.
Well, I'm pretty sure we can.
It's never really going to be an issue, is it? And I was thinking, do we need a different catchphrase for series 2? And I have to say, I still like the series 1 catchphrase.
No, I think it's just people will be disappointed if we don't.
I think absolutely. So on that note, don't forget to wash your face. And washing your face when you've got a beard, that's weird. It's like washing your hair on your face.
Beard shampoo.
I absolutely bizarre.
John, I have beard shampoo.
Beard shampoo. I tell you, dry your hair, and then you think, oh, hold on a minute, my beard's all wet as well.
Yeah, you need beard products.
Amazing new world that I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
Amazing new world. So yes, but on that note, wash your face, and if you've got a beard, get some beard shampoo. Yeah. Wash your hands and
don't lick any strangers.
Don't lick any strangers. Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks ever so much. Thanks, James, for your time. I think it's been a cracking one.
Yeah.
And look forward to the next one.
Yes, see you all soon.
Cheers. Take care. Bye.
Hello there, and thank you for joining us for our latest episode of the SurveYOUR podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as we enjoyed making it. Don't forget to subscribe at all your favourite podcast providers: Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio and so on. Also on Twitter and Instagram at SurvePod, that's SurvPod. You can also get us on YouTube. Click the subscribe button and don't forget to click the little bell. It tells you when we post our latest content, and on our webpage survepod.com. Don't forget to leave us your reviews, comments, suggestions, and of course any questions. And finally, if you want to come along, join us at a future episode of the SurveYOUR podcast, send us an email to survepod@gmail.com. If you like what you see and hear, tell your friends. Let's put surveying on the map. Stay safe, wash your hands, and don't lick any strangers. Bye-bye for now. The SurveYOUR podcast is a copyright Deliver and Invise Limited production. We suggest you come up with your own ideas and not copy ours. Thank you. Catch you again soon. Bye-bye.